Hey y'all, welcome back. As many as you know, I'm Joy and I am a widow, and I'm also the blessed mom to 4 incredible kids that bless me every single day of the year. I am over here making videos, you guys, sharing the real thoughts that go through a widow's head, the day-to-day, the journey, the loneliness, the heartache, the healing, the joy, and just trying to create a new beautiful life. I would love for y'all to come along, so I invite you, go ahead and click that subscribe button if this sounds like a season that you are in. Over here you'll find nothing but encouragement, and I just love to share my truths with people and let you see what it's really like as a widow, and those questions that you would never want to ask. I'm here for it. Pain into purpose. If you've hung around here long enough, whether you watch my videos, you're my friend in real life, you've been in my mental health space matters group, you will hear me say pain into purpose a lot. It's a phrase I use a lot. It's kind of like my logo, I guess, for the year, of like where my head is at. I am just taking that pain and turning it into fuel and fire to carry me. But I wanted to spend a little bit of time with you guys and revisit that phrase today, because you might hear me say it a lot. And I know people who know me really well have heard me say I actually enjoy the pain, because I know that God's working in it and he's using it and he's like burning off these broken parts of me and just getting rid of the ugly and turning me into something incredible. And I've witnessed it and just blown away with this year. But I did want to take a moment and pause on it and say, when I say that I enjoy the pain and the pain is being turned into purpose, I want to acknowledge that the pain still hurts. Those days are still long and hard, exhausting when I'm walking through pain. And I've been currently going through that this week, so I thought, you know what, I'm going to be raw and honest. I'm going to give a little story time on my video this week and share with you guys, because I think that's super important. When I start these videos, is really about sharing my journey, my experience, the truths, and giving you guys all, because I want you guys to be able to come in and see what it's like being in my brain and being in a widow's life, like the reality, not just what you get, the half version of it, you know, that can be on social media. So this week I've really been in the thick of it and walking through some heavy emotions, some heavy anger, to like, just straight up, to be truthful with you, some heavy anger with Antoine, my husband, who passed away. And I hadn't gone through a lot of anger previously in grief, and I know it's a stage of grief, and I was just like, cool, like I skipped that season. That's the funny thing about grief, is I don't think you really skip anything. If you don't take care of it, it comes back around. So just some pain, really pain. I'm blessed that I have some really amazing friends in my life, and this last week or so I've had some doors open, you know, that God was excited to open for my heart. And there was some pain just eking out of there, some anger, and not even necessarily like bad anger. It was anger in a place of where Antoine hurt me, and he never had the chance to apologize. He never had the time to walk with me through that. And so I'm stuck, you know, doing it on my own and walking with God in that. And this week was heavy and it hurt and it kind of knocked me on my knees. And I just wanted to come on here and be real with you guys that the pain does hurt. It really does hurt. And some days it's a little bit easier. Like, it's really amazing because I have a lot of support and I have really good friends and family and people that are praying for me. And I get into my mental health space and I get to be really raw and honest there with people. And you get to see how my pain can lift others up in their pain, and that we're just this team. And that's a beautiful thing, but it's still really heavy and hard, and it doesn't get me often, I'll say, anymore. I feel like I've been really free from that for a while now, but when it hits, that's why I wanted to come on here and share with y'all. So I was in the thick of it, and one of the things that you will see me say a lot is to go write a letter, or to go journal, or to go spend time with God. And for me, it always involves like a pen, because there's something freeing for me, taking it from my body, my mind, my soul, and putting it onto paper. It's like it's allowing it out. And then it's really cool, because then I can like burn it, I can rip it out, I can shred it, I can give it to God. So this week I decided that I was going to write a letter to Antoine with this anger, that I was going to process it, I was going to walk through it with God. And that is what I did, y'all. I grabbed my piece of paper and started to write out this letter. Dear Antoine. Bam, like just bam, bam, bam. And not in a mean, vicious way, but just out it poured from my soul, and I let it go, and I put it on the paper bold and just expressing all of my pain that he had put in my life, and he's not here to clean it up. And one of the most powerful things happened to me that has not happened yet while I was writing a letter. And it was just a God moment for me, and I'm really grateful. As I wrote each line, Dear Antoine, you da-da-da-da-da-da, like this is what you put. The next line I would go to write, God would pause my heart, and he would just flood me with this joy and this forgiveness and this light of, but in this pain, in this loneliness, in this brokenness that you put in my life, God has redeemed it. God has taken it and made something so beautiful. And I'm seeing each lesson as writing out the hurt from Antoine in the first line. The very next line, God is showing me and washing my heart clean of just any of the anger that I had, because now I'm seeing how beautifully he's used it and he's transformed it, and how I have grown massively in each of those painful areas, and that it's not something I would have done had the pain not been there. And it's hard with grief, because if you don't handle it, it comes back around, and those doors can be shut. You can close those doors, but they will come back open, or the pain will eat at you. And that's one of the most beautiful things I'm super grateful for this year with God, is that it's been an opportunity to grow, and I've been saying yes to it. And I have not been let down, y'all. I have not been let down. And I would never, ever in a lifetime choose this pain, but it's here, and now it's doing wonders for me. And I just am so excited, and I want to encourage you, if you are in pain, to grab a piece of paper and a pen and do some journaling. Write a letter, whether it's anger or sadness or confusion, or you want to write a letter to your deceased one. Do it. I want to leave you with some quick tips on how to go about writing your letter and making the most of it. I've done this a lot, and it's been huge in my journey. And since I mentioned it so many times in my videos, I really wanted to get a little bit nitpicky and down to the details with you guys, why I find it so effective for me. So, number one, you need to be in like a quiet space alone, probably, to write this letter. That may depend on your personality, but for me, it's very important. And then maybe like you could have music playing too. Like if there's music that's very helpful to you, or there's a song that really relates to that moment that you're in, sure, go for it. Turn on some music. I personally really like to pray and be in God's presence and invite him in to do healing. For me, writing the letters is always about healing and releasing and taking things that I don't want to carry anymore and giving them to him. So I always pray and invite God into that moment. Number 3, you need to dig deep. You need to let it all out. Remember, this is like the perfect way to do it, because you're writing on a piece of paper. Nobody ever has to see it if you don't want them to, unless you have someone that's well trusted that you want them to read it. But other than that, this is your place to let go. Be in those raw, heavy, hurting emotions. And it doesn't really matter what type of letter it is. Let the emotions out. Feel it. Be ready to process and to hurt and be in pain. So that comes with number 4. Forgot which one I'm on. Number 4, make sure that you probably have the day kind of set aside where it's an easy day, that you don't have a lot going on, because this emotionally can drain you, especially if it's early on in grief. This might kind of mess up your day, because it's going to open up stuff. It's going to let stuff out. It's going to bring up memories. And that's good. That's a good thing. Be in the hurt, be in the pain, put it into the letter, put it into a place that you can physically take it from your soul and let it go. Then, number 5, this is the most important thing. This letter is not so that you can relish it. This letter is not so that you can hold on to it and now be like, look, I have proof. Like, this is BS and I'm angry and I hate what's happened here. And, the letter is not to make you feel more angry and let you sit and dwell in that space or be stuck in the loneliness or the heartache. This letter, the reason you need to write it is so that you can heal, that you can release. In my case, that you can give it back to God. So it's really important that you take that final step with it, burn it, rip it up, shred it, give it to a friend, go leave it out in the wilderness, climb a mountain and leave it there with God. Let it be, release it, pray about it, and give it over. And I cannot say it enough how much it's impacted my journey. So there's my best tips. And then just go find something to be grateful for after that. That is my biggest thing, is that when I've been through those waves of emotions and the pain and the processing, when the days are really hard, I process and I work through it with God and I give it some attention. Then I release. It's not in my hands anymore. And I put my eyes and my focus back on gratitude. So I guess that's tip number 6. Then go find something to be grateful for and get your feet back in a forward motion. Mine is always facing the Lord, being in gratitude, and get ready for what He brings you. So I hope those tips help you. I really encourage you, if you are in grief, to go do some processing. Maybe it's writing a letter, maybe it's journaling, maybe it's drawing a picture, or going out and being in the wilderness with God. But I hope that these tips can help you. And I look forward to sharing more of my story with you next week.